Sounds good to me.
It's Cosmographia, the Randall Carlson podcast.
And it is Cosmographia, but it is also a Grimerica show, Brothers of the Serpent, and Uncharted X Swapcast. We're all together here, including with Laura, who's one of the Cosmographia team, and Brad, Brad, where are you? You're in Utah?
I'm in Sedona, Arizona.
Okay, Arizona. Yeah, so we're all here we're going to discuss the recent Scablands trip that we just took. It was under the Contact of the Cabin set of trips. So we were grouped up with Grimerica, and then Ben showed up he was a low man on totem pole attendee, but he turned out to be really useful. So he took a lot of drone footage. So we decided, well, we should let him be on the show too.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, he does have some experience with doing YouTube stuff, so I figured we should get him here.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, and also happy birthday, Brad. You just had a birthday a couple days ago.
I have completed another orbit of the old fireball, yes.
All right.
He's 21, dude. We can go to the bar, finally.
All right, woo!
Started early.
Yeah, so it was a great trip, and basically this will be a recap of the whole thing, and we're going to show some of the footage and just talk about how it all went. Right, Randall? Is that your plan?
Yeah, I'm going along with the program here, whatever it might be, but that sounds like a good plan to me. So, relive a little bit of the high times and the fun and the that we had.
Scabland extravaganza.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it was really great to meet everybody. So everybody that was on the trip, if you guys are watching this, I had a great time with all of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, it was really
extraordinary.
Cool. Yeah, an excellent group. And every time we've done one of these events, it's been like that. The groups are just fantastic. It's like somehow it's self-sorting. Only cool people show up. I don't know how it works out, but
so if you're not cool, don't fuck it up.
That's
right. Cool people only.
Yeah, only the hosts are allowed to not be cool, right? That's part of my job.
Exactly. We fill up the non-cool category.
Right.
Non-cools get super nerds covered. No, it was another. I mean, you go into every group, you're not sure what you're going to get, but, by halfway through, you're loving them, and by the end of it, you're sad to see them go. I mean, every single event we've had is no one's ever happy to leave. No one's ever like, can't wait for on Sunday morning to get out of there. Everyone's always, hanging around or trying to kick it as long as they can.
One more day.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the last two we've done. We've ended up adding one more day to each of them because, it's never enough, and no one ever wants to say goodbye. And that's why the tagline for Contact at the Cabin is the magic continues, because there seems to be some sort of something that we've been lucky enough to tap into there that, I can't put my finger on it, but there just seems to be magic to these events that, a few of the people sitting around this table, I mean, Graham, of course, can't make it tonight because he's with his mom for her surgery. So we send out good vibes to her and speedy recovery. He will be at the event in September, of course. He's free of his day job now officially and free to travel. And we'll get him some fake papers if we need to. But, I mean, the point is it's a credit to, him and Brad and Kyle and Russ and Randall and Dave and Brandon and just sort of the people that are following you guys around and following our shows. And, it's a huge sort of sign of that, of all that collected community and effort. So
yeah,
I'm proud to be a part of that with you guys. And I hope that continues in September. I'll kick that off before we even get into the recap here. If everyone's like, holy fuck, I can't believe I missed that. We are doing this again, September 20th to 26th of this year. It's already about 20% sold out, but there's still, 20 spots left or so. So you can still get into that. That is with the extra day on that as well. So we will be checking in on Monday this time and not leaving until Sunday. So the plan being that we'll be able to keep all the days a little bit shorter, so we have a little bit more time in the evenings, you know, an extra hour or two in the evenings and maybe an extra hour in the morning, a couple of mornings, so that we can do more partying.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
Or get more sleep. Like same amount of partying, but more sleep, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it'll actually be more partying in the same amount of sleep.
Partying was good. Yeah. It was a late last night, that's for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good
Sleep
thing we
optional.
didn't bring 2 cases of
No
snake
time for
wine.
sleep.
If there would have been another case of snake wine, the party might have gone till dawn.
Yeah.
We finished it all in Utah, so
Yeah.
we brought 2 cases to Utah, and that was a 4-day trip, and it all got finished. So, but this time we were on a plane, so we couldn't bring that much. You know, we packed as much as we could into one suitcase, and we
still had to take a bottle out at the
we
airport.
got to the airport. They put it on the scale, and
Yeah, it was too heavy.
Too
so
heavy.
we're like,
Oh, geez.
here, have a bottle of wine.
yeah. chug.
Next
But man,
time we'll
I have to say, Brad and Randall, the Scablands were absolutely amazing. It was really great to get there and to see it for myself. And the itinerary was awesome. I know it was sort of you all were talking about how it's kind of there's so much to see, and that this was like a trial balloon sort of itinerary to see how much we could get done. And I was just amazed at the vastness of this. It's like you're trying to present, you know, something to a group of people that is so vast. You have to drive, you know, hours and hours every day, and you're only seeing a tiny piece of it. So I thought that must have been quite a challenge to try to put that together and to figure out how it was all going to work. But even though we didn't get to see some of the places we were supposed to, like Wallula Gap, personally, I thought it was amazing. It was a great run, and I'm sure it's only going to get better now that you guys know what it's going to be like to drive 3 vans full of people and have to make stops for all the bathrooms and everything that we had to deal with all these people. Everything took more time, but still, it was an awesome experience. So I think you guys, hats off to you guys, man. That was great.
A stellar job on that, and I think we both.
yeah.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that, guys. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'd have to
Good
say,
job,
you had me.
We packed it in for sure.
You had me worried, bro. You had me worried when it was like 2 weeks before and there was still no itinerary, but you fucking knocked it out of the park.
Well, ditto. As an attendee, like I came along and you guys ran it. All of you did a fantastic job. I mean, Kyle and Russ, you were working on it too, like driving the buses, and Darren and organised it. And logistically, it went off really well. I mean, it was busy, long day to get a lot in, but that's kind of what you want on these events. You know, I think there wasn't much time wasted, and then outside of that, it was the socializing and the group was awesome. Yeah, and as you said, Kyle, like just. It really conveyed to me just a sense of scale, and I just didn't have a full appreciation for that, and I still don't. But yeah, it was amazingly impressive. I walked out of there wondering why don't more people visit this area? Like that was one of the things. Like just didn't, people go there to camp and there's play some golf or whatever, but to me it's as spectacular as areas like the Grand Canyon. It feels like it should attract a lot more people. So if anyone out there hasn't seen or been to the Channeled Scablands, you should go. It's absolutely spectacular landscape, and then that gets doubly kind of compounded in your head once you realize the scale of the event and the magnitude of what actually took place there and what you're looking at. So yeah,
Even in the conventional sense,
thanks for putting it on.
Even in the conventional sense, I think that's what really hammers it home. Is like this is one of those spots that even if you just want to go with the straight conventional theory, it's still like the ranger at the station is still like, this fucking thing was full of water. And, the difference is we're saying, well, yeah, it was full of water and then some. But, even the conventional theory of how this stuff was made is phenomenal. It's impressive. And for me, it was like, I'd only ever seen the dry falls. I didn't find my hat, unfortunately. So
yeah, we looked for it. We didn't see it.
That's okay. I got a new hat while I was there. So my hat collection grows.
All right.
So I'd never really only seen the dry falls, and driven up that coulee a couple of times, which is impressive enough, and it's a beautiful drive. But man, the Potholes, cataract, and the other one were what was the one we went
Dry
to?
Falls.
The
He's
yeah,
seen-
Palouse Falls.
I didn't
Palouse
get to
Falls?
Palouse Falls.
he wasn't there that day. Yeah.
The potholes, potholes, cataract.
Potholes is the one we hiked up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're thinking of
Steamboat.
Steamboat Rock. Yeah, that was the other one.
Upper
Yeah.
Grankly.
That was
Steamboat
amazing.
was last, yeah.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of. Kyle's got a bunch of pictures queued up over here, and I've got some drone footage, and Ben's got some drone footage too, so we can go
do.
through some of that as well.
Oh yeah, we should have some of that playing while we're bullshitting.
Yeah, we can do it.
Well, and as spectacular it is right there, that's the most obvious place where these floods occurred. But we could follow them around the whole perimeter of the ice sheet. All across the northern United States. There's really impressive flood features. So as awesome as the scale was, that's a small chunk of it.
Yeah, so this is to what you were saying, Darren. I mean, I took a picture of this sign because it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, even the parks are.
This is
admitting.
the park saying, but of course you read it, and of course they have the ice dam theory in here, which is to be expected. But yeah, right here, cataclysmic floods on the plaque at the park. So that's not in question for sure.
Yeah.
Was that Dry Falls?
That was Palouse Falls.
Oh, that Palouse Falls. Okay.
Yeah.
So Palouse Falls had the same. Is Palouse Falls where you guys went cliff diving?
No, that's in the
No.
Drumheller channels.
Oh, the channels. Yeah, that was like what was it called? Blue Lake? What was that?
Upper Goose Lake.
Oh,
Goose Lake, yeah, Laura.
Yeah.
I remember because there's a video.
Well, I do.
Yeah, we had a good dozen people that jumped off that cliff, starting with Kyle turning around backwards and backflipping to show off for everybody. It's like, yeah, we're all just bums after that, man. That was awesome. There is video coming.
Yes, I have all the. I do have all the drone footage of a bunch of people jumping off. I did upload a little clip recently that had some of it. Yeah, you guys could put on quite a show.
Oh, that's nothing compared to the
Cliff diving.
jamming. The jamming's the best part.
Oh yeah, that was a highlight for me too, for sure.
Yeah, Ben put up like a 11-minute video with a bunch of his drone footage, some footage of Randall. It was really
clips
cool.
of Randall.
The map, you guys were all surrounding that big map that you carried around, and Randall was like showing people what was happening, and everybody was surrounding the map, looking down at it. And then after that, it's like he starts playing audio of us jamming out late night.
Oh man,
While drone footage is playing of all the various places we visited. It was really well done.
where?
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
really good.
get that far. I got to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that, Ben.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
That's killer.
Nothing like looking at Palouse Falls and people jumping off a cliff to like a cover of No Diggity in there.
Is that on your channel or what?
Yeah. I just put it up I think yesterday. But something different for me, like a bit of fun to put it up and
Yeah, it was really
put
cool.
it together. And if you stay tuned right until the end, there's a little bonus clip right at the end where
That's right.
Randall unfurls his trance drummer self.
Trance drumming. That's right. Really,
All right.
really well done.
Garth in
the end.
Garth in the chat says that the sleep to party ratio never changes.
Okay. Never change.
That's right.
And then Cyrus says that the Snake Bros killed it.
All right.
Hey,
Thank you,
thank
buddy.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Randall, what was your? I'm eager to hear what you thought of it. We were excited to get out there in the Scablands, and I knew you and Brad were excited to get a group out there, and we were finally able to pull it off. And I'm just wondering, a week later, how was it? What would you do differently? And how's it settling?
Well, the only thing, doing differently, I think you guys we all came to the same conclusion on that. A little bit shorter days and having that extra day, I think that'll make a difference. Because one of the things that'll do then is, it'll allow us to get back, have dinner, like you said, socialize, party or whatever. But if there is something that comes up, impromptu that we want to see, then we might have a little extra time, like, oh man, we should go see such and such a place. That would have that's maybe off the path a little bit of the itinerary. So that would give us that option as well. If we didn't have quite as many places, it wouldn't stop us, in other words, from adding a site or two.
Yeah, like an extra day would allow us to get all the way to Wallula Gap, perhaps, on one day.
Yes, and that was a disappointment to me not getting to Wallula Gap because, of course, really, how would you do this if you were going to try to tell the whole story? You obviously couldn't do it. I mean, even 2 weeks wouldn't be enough. I mean, 2 weeks, we've done 2 weeks. 2 weeks, let's say you start at Portland and you go up the Columbia River, go east through the Columbia Gorge there. Well, all the way along there are spectacular, gigantic flood effects, particularly the magnificent waterfalls, La Tourelle, Oneonta, Multnomah. These are some really spectacular things to see, and to realize that they are also products of these tremendous erosive floods that came through there. And then, getting up to Wallula Gap, and, we had to, we didn't get as far as Lake Pend d'Oreille, but, that whole area up there, Coeur d'Alene, Pend d'Oreille is worth seeing. Taking the trip up the Clark Fork Valley where the supposed ice dam was, and, going through Eddy Narrows, into the basins of Lake Missoula, to the giant current ripple fields up there. There's a lot to see. So that could actually comprise a whole another trip in itself, a week-long journey into what we might think of as the Lake Basin, what would have been to the east of the Purcell Trench lobe. And I think to those who've been keeping up with the Cosmographia podcast, you're going to know what I'm talking about when I say the Purcell Trench lobe. But we would then have to also go into Canada, go up through the Rocky Mountain Trench, Okanagan Valley, up in the headwaters of the Columbia, all of that up in there. The Drumlin Fields up there on the Neshako Plateau. So, I mean, all of that is part of the same event. That's the thing. And again, what we saw in those 5 days, like you said, is only a piece of it.
I got some.
So, go ahead, Darren.
I got some footage with my drone of the Bow River the other day. And
you did?
Yeah, and I've been meaning to ask you about that. It was that because that shit is like flat as a pancake on top. And then you've got the typical river. It's a decent sized river, but it's at the size at the bottom of a channel that's, clearly way too big for it. And then when you get it with the drone, you can really start to see all the coulees and we call them coulees. They're nothing compared to the dry coulees that we've seen out there. But so is that because that's a subglacial flow?
Why be the flatness?
Like the flat on top and then the fingers coming into it?
Well, the flat is probably because it's an outwash plain. I mean, where the Bow River discharges on the Rocky Mountain front, you would have had a major spreading out and slowing down of the movement of the water, which would then, create an outwash plain, and an outwash plain can be pretty flat. Let's see, the Bow River, it comes out there just pretty much to the northwest of Calgary.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's check this out here. I wonder if Google Earth would show any drumlin fields on it.
You got a picture, Darren? You could pop on there from your drone.
I can if I can. Let me see.
See if it's a terrace you're talking about, or
what if I?
What exactly?
What if I email it to you, Brad?
Oh yeah, not where I'm at in Sedona.
What if I email it to you, system. Kyle?
Well, it looks to me like where it
Go for it.
Where it discharges, or to use the French term, debouches from the mountain front, it spreads out into a huge outwash plain. Let's see, some of the town, Exshaw. Let's see, Trans-Canada Highway comes through there. So you've got a constriction there, right there let's see.
Cochrane, there's something right there at Cochrane too.
Cochrane, yeah.
And there's the moon something dam right there also.
Okay, and then going further west, you've got the Bow Flats natural area. So, so what you got there looks to me like a classic underfit river, and the larger valley, the whole floor looks like it's just mantled with sediment, and that's would be totally understandable given that you first had a lot of glaciers grinding up and excavating material from the mountain flanks, and then with the meltdown, all of that material was washed down into the valleys and deposited. Oh yes, this looks like some interesting. The Bow Falls viewpoint. Oh, the Bow River barbecue pit.
I was not far from that, probably. Let's see if I can find a decent picture here.
Mount Rundle. Okay, here we go. Yeah, wow, look at this.
Yeah, we had so much drone coverage. We had 3 different people with drones going. I didn't even pull mine out, and then drone envy occurred. So I'm about to go get one of those small ones tomorrow, and Darren already bought one, and he's been out with it. So that was a lot of fun having all that coverage.
Pretty heavy drone envy out there.
Yeah,
It was some drone activity, that's for sure.
I bought one on the way home. I stopped in Spokane and bought one on the way home just because it was so cool.
I'm
Well, I
going to
gotta say,
Flagstaff
like-
to get that mini tomorrow.
And that's what I said. I got a hold of Brad and said, if you guys need me to go get some aerial footage, anything in Canada, while we've got this fascist regime, I can, take care of that, because you need papers to get into my country pretty soon.
Zip papers, please.
Zip papers, please.
Can I share a screen?
Absolutely, sir.
Mount Rundle? Okay.
Give her a shot.
I'm going to say
It's
that
a great example of an overthrust mountain that is. These were once. Yeah, this is Mount Rundle. So this is along the Bow River right here. So you've got enormous amounts of glacial erosion here on the left, and you can see the whole strata has been completely uplifted. You see, this was once horizontal strata.
Yep.
And, the question is, in my mind, is at what rate do these uplift events occur? Is it possible that they occur a whole lot faster than the conventional models have assumed? Because one of the things is, like, when you look at this, you particularly notice the sharp angular cliff faces here. If this had been, see, here's the problem is given erosional rates, which are based upon measuring the amount of sediment that's being discharged into the oceans every year, say, that's being washed off the continents. Typically 10 to 12 million years is all it would take to wear a continent down to a so-called peneplain, which is basically just a flat surface not too far above sea level. So when you think about the rates at which erosion takes place, even under normal circumstances, much less the exponentially accelerated erosional rates of these transition periods between different climatic phase states, such as full glacial and interglacial modes, when you have that accelerated erosion, what that would tell you then to me is that, really, why should there be mountains at all? At this point, the mountains should be being wore down as fast as they're being uplifted, if the rates of uplift are derivative from the rates of continental drift that's being measured, for example, along the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, for example. If you've got the spreading of continents that's, say, 2 centimeters per year, then you would assume that the uplifting, and this could be overthrust like what we're seeing here, or it could be anticlinal like we saw in Washington. It could be synclinal, or it could be monoclinal, right? Any one of those. So the question is at what rate does that take place? And if it's taking place at the assumed rates of a few centimeters of erosion per year, well then, why do they even exist? See my point? In other words, the uplift is very slow. The erosional downcutting and wasting relative to the rates of uplift is not it's commensurate with that. So my point is that these things should be almost eroding away as fast as they're being uplifted. Unless the rates of uplift, folding and faulting and overthrusting are accelerated for a short period of time above the rates of downwasting. If that makes sense, what I'm trying to say here. Does that make sense, Russ, what I'm trying to say?
I think so.
I think so. But I'm trying to get this picture over because the spot I'm looking at is definitely, it's over further where it's into the prairies.
Sure. Okay.
So is that, Randall, is that along the Icefields Parkway? Oh, we're switching. That's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, and full disclosure here, I'm trying to set up drone footage as well, so I wasn't totally paying attention, Randall, so you probably made a lot more sense than I was able to tell.
But
Okay.
we weren't listening, but it made sense.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense. I didn't hear anything you said.
Well, those mountains shouldn't be there. It should have been worn down. If it took that long to lift them up, they should have been worn down again by now.
That was my point.
Yeah, and it sounds similar to how I've heard you describe things like water gaps, right? Where you have uplift and wearing down happening at the same time, or at least at the same rate. At least that's how they say some of these features are formed. Yeah.
So where's your picture taken, Darren?
At McKinnon Flats, which would be directly south of Langdon, Alberta.
Okay.
So the Bow River comes through pretty much west to east, and then it cuts south, goes through Calgary, right, and then continues out into the plain. So
I just sent you two pictures, Kyle, that I think will kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about across.
Well, I know we're going live, but in the Cosmographia version, I'll put those in.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I got Langdon. So. Yeah, I'm going to guess that all of that is outwash in there. For one thing, you had the floods coming down through there, because this right there would have been pretty much where the ice-free corridor was for a while, probably in that 2,000 to 3,000 year period, just leading up to the Younger Dryas boundary. Because if you guys remember, there was a warming that began between 14 and 15,000 years ago that caused a glacier recession, so that when the Younger Dryas boundary occurred, the ice sheets had lost maybe 10% of their mass as a result of this gradual warming between 13,000 and 15,000 years ago. Okay, with that shrinkage of the ice back, that's probably when the ice-free corridor opened up. Now, you then had major flooding that poured down into that region between the Laurentide ice sheet on the east and the Cordilleran ice sheet on the west. So when the meltdown occurred, you had huge volumes of water pouring into that trough between the two ice sheets. And so this area that you're looking at Langdon would have been right there in that trough. In fact, the whole town of Calgary would have been. And then the Bow River coming out of there would have had a tremendous amount of outwash. And that was probably one of the major discharge points for melting floodwaters to exit off the Rocky Mountains.
So in this instance, it actually would have been, there was just that much water coming down that waterway at one time.
Okay, let me see. Okay, now this is the Bow River. Okay, and so
that would be looking north. That would be looking towards. That would be looking west towards the Rockies.
Yeah, this is looking west because you see the Rocky Mountains in the distance there. Yeah, so it's likely, Darren, that from the flat surface all the way down to the existing river is just a gigantic mass of outwash sediment. 150 feet thick or whatever.
So it's on top of the landscape. It's like it's buried. Whatever was there before.
Whatever is there, is buried.
So there could, be shit under there even. Wow. I didn't think of it that way. I thought of, so in my head, I pictured it as being like a glacier across there and a subglacial flow underneath, but that's all sediment. Holy fuck.
And so you're saying when it was an ice-free corridor, there just would have been subject to just tons of flooding and sediment at that time. I imagine that's the case. So it would have been real difficult to traverse because it would have been a long journey as well.
I can kind of see that now from that. It looks like it's all dumping in from the north side and sort of slamming into the other side and coming down. Perfect.
How wide was that corridor? I mean, during those couple thousand years, do we have an estimation for that?
Width of the ice-free corridor?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
I remember like a 50 mile in there somewhere, but
that
it was
sounds about
growing,
right.
expanding, and closing up and separating.
Yeah, right. Been a hell of a gauntlet with all of the megafauna and short-faced bears running around through there for
Sounds like it's
Paleo-Indian roving bands of
closing
humans.
in on you, and all the bears and giant cats and everything are in there too.
Yep.
Not fun.
Nice prey funnel.
Well, I'm going to share screen.
I see some Scablands drone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've got a little slideshow of some photos as well, and Russ has some excellent drone footage.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do, we'll come right back to since we're talking about this, I have a map up here. I just want to show one thing on this map.
Yeah, right.
And,
Bow River.
Yeah, let's see. Are we sharing my share?
Not yet.
Hit it.
Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, so send it away.
Darren doesn't know to not ask
Random question.
non sequitur questions, I guess.
Tangentially speaking. Ooh. Well, this is like my stomping ground, Laura, so I got my drone and I want to go see some shit.
It's all related.
So here's Langdon Park, and here you see the incised Bow River flowing along. You can see how it's cut down into this flat surface. So your drone footage is right around over this area somewhere.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of this is outwash in here. And I'm sure it was from multiple sources, but one of the main contributing sources would have been here's where the river comes out of the Rocky Mountain front right here.
And that would have been the same outwash that brought the big rock down?
No, the big rock was brought down. It came from the Athabasca, where the Athabasca River. So it would have been farther north. Let's see, up by Jasper. Yeah. So here, if I'm going to zoom up here, you see Mount Robson right here.
Yeah.
That was likely one of the sources for the metaquartzite boulders. The other one was Mount Edith Cavell. But both of those two mountains
south.
Yeah, it's right in here, but that's not too important for the moment. But you can see this was a pathway for discharge. And look at this. See, this is incipient drumlinization here. So this is most likely carved by tremendous volumes of water passing under the valley glaciers that occupied these valleys here. Because bear in mind that during the latter part of the Ice Age, the Cordilleran ice sheet buried almost all of this, and all you had was nunataks or mountain peaks sticking up above the glaciers. So you had a tremendous amount of ice here. Here's Mount Edith Cavell right here. So when we come out here, here's the outlet right here. So right here at Hinton, you would have had the water discharging. You can actually look at the texture of the land here. The water came out this way and then diverted south and came down along this pathway, scouring as it went, and then the boulders got deposited all along here, all the way down to Montana, right here. And I think we can see, if we zoom in, we can actually see there's some like scabland type terrain in here. And then if we really zoom in right here, Can you guys see the giant current ripples?
Yep.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's huge current ripple field right in here. And then all of this is leading into what becomes the Missouri River. So the Missouri River coming down here became, a giant sluiceway that was taking that discharge of a lot of that meltwater coming off of the Rocky Mountains there and carrying it down. You see, this is the Milk River here. And if you look, you can see that it's, if I go back to you can see it's a case of an underfit river again. And then that goes down and feeds into the Missouri River. And so that became a sluiceway to convey waters from the melting ice sheet up here all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And then if we go back up here to this area.
Those Milk River ripples are way larger than anything that we saw on our trip in Crab Creek Coulee or on West Bar.
Yes.
Yeah, they would totally dwarf those things that we saw.
Yes.
Those would be like hills you'd be driving over if I'm in my truck.
Yeah. And they'd be so huge you probably wouldn't even be aware.
Wow.
Like, okay. So if we go back up here to Jasper National Park, there's Mount Robson. So you had a discharge out the Athabasca here. But then what I want to call your attention to is the Rocky Mountain Trench, which is really a very interesting geomorphological feature. And you can see, look at the texture of the floor and how it's got this drumlinized effect. And then, of course, here's...
Is that Highway 40?
No,
95.
That's 95. And this is the headwaters of the Columbia River. So if we go up here, you'll notice that the Rocky Mountain Trench really begins up here here's Prince George. It begins by Prince George. And you can see it's like a great trough all the way down here.
Thousands of feet deep.
Yes. And coming down here like this, you can see it. And of course, all of this was completely filled with ice during the late Wisconsin Ice Age. And if we come all the way down, you see that it discharges right here where Flathead Lake is. And this here is this is the Mission Basin, which was the largest basin of Lake Missoula. And if you zoom in,
all kinds of ripples going down that southern end of there you go, Rocky Mountain Trench.
And look at this. Look at these drumlins. So I look at this and I go, yep, what this is suggesting is that you had extreme subglacial flows coming down. There would have been a valley glacier through here that was probably 3/4 of a mile thick, right? So now you can picture you've got huge discharges coming underneath the ice and discharging. Now the terminus of the ice sheet is right here. You can see the moraine shows up in this map, the Polson moraine. And the current Flathead River breaches that moraine. And it flows across thick sedimentary fields of huge, thick, hundreds of foot thick layers of outwashed sediment. And it's right here, Camas Prairie, where the Camas Prairie Basin, where you have the giant current ripple field. And I will bet if I go over here, we will be able to see the current ripples. There they are. And this is in when we do the eastern wing of the Great Cordilleran Floods trip. We'll do this. We'll come down 382 and we come through Marco Pass right here. We curve to the east, and just as we're coming through the pass, you're up on the ridge here, and you can look down all the way to the south of Camas Prairie, and you can see the whole ripple train spread out for 5 miles beneath you. It's a pretty spectacular perspective, especially when you get there towards the end of the day when the sun is getting low in the sky.
Oh, yeah. Get the shadows right.
Yeah.
We're hoping to add that part 2 in 2022, of course, but we are going back in September 20th to 26th if anyone wants to get on that trip. Why don't you show us why next, Kyle, why we should be stoked to go to Soap Lake?
Yeah, but Kyle's got a bunch of photos. Let's go through
Okay. Well, just for context, I'll pull us
Whoa.
over to the Soap Lake, and we'll zoom in, and we'll see. This is where we stayed, right here at the
Whoa.
at the resort there at the bottom end of Soap Lake. And since we've been talking about discharge and outwash fans, we have a huge one just to the south of Soap Lake that we actually did drive across and saw a small piece of it, you know, the Ephrata erratix fan. And we were sitting right here at the south end of Grand Coulee. So
North of Quincy Basin, right?
north, yes, this is Quincy Basin right here.
Where's Steamboat Rock in comparison to that now?
Steamboat Rock
up north.
is right there.
Yeah, north part of
I climbed to the top of that bitch and all around it.
Well, Darren,
huffed and
there's
puffed
no
my way up there.
question you are an impressive fellow.
Thank you very much, sir. I can die a
He
happy
fell
man.
off, climbed back up, and then climbed down, act like it didn't happen.
Shook it off.
But
It was uphill both ways. That's what he told me.
and we
Walk it
also
off.
made this stop right here at the gravel pit. Let's see, where's the gravel pit? Northrop Road.
It's right at the entrance of Northrop Road there, yeah.
I
Yeah,
did.
it's right at the entrance here. Yeah, we got some spectacular pictures of that.
That's the flood-borne sediment. I got that. That's
Yeah.
really nice. Really, the drone footage of like panning close to that and just across it is really good footage.
Yeah, we need to see that too.
I believe this is it right here.
Yep, you can see it there.
Yep. Yeah,
And that granite in there, there was a couple of questions we had about. There's chunks of granite in there. Was that dumped in there as part of quarrying, or you think that's sediment that's
probably
is
entrained
flood-borne
within the sediment. So it
Wow.
shows that there was a lot of different flows of water coming together here.
Some good pink granite.
Yeah, that flowed over some very diverse terrains. And
It looked so little.
We have a nice little cataract here, a little alcove, and we have another little incipient steamboat rock forming right here. Let's go to this map. Oh yeah, look at this. So if the erosion had kept up, then this is called Castle Rock. Castle Rock would have been an isolated butte, just like Steamboat Rock is now.
It looks so
and
small on the map compared to.
When you're there,
Oh,
trying to
yeah,
climb
I
to
mean,
the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I've got drone footage from on top of Steamboat Rock. I flew the drone around from on top. It's incredible landscape.
When we
I'll
were
stop
climbing
you.
down, there was deer climbing up that shit. There was a family of deer teaching a little baby deer how to climb up the rocks.
Yep, I saw a deer too when I was on my way down.
You were impressive, buddy. You were like up and down in like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah. I didn't get to do a lot of sightseeing up there though. Just get to make it to the highest peak and turn around.
Most of the people weren't even up there yet, and you were already back to the van. I left a trail of clothes all the way up.
I saw that.
We noticed that. Yeah,
Yeah, we did see that.
your underwear was unnecessary though. You didn't have to take those
Could
off.
have kept those on.
That was a flank. That was a flank.
All right, let's see some pics.
So I didn't get very much pictures of Soap Lake. I've got one just like which was right outside my my door in my cabin.
Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look at where we stayed. Our base of operations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't.
Yeah, we just took a picture of the beach. We're like, look at this beach.
This is just like right outside.
there,
the
yeah.
door. I was just like,
Yeah.
man, this is what I wake up to.
I have Brad on the paddle bike in the lake, but that's about it.
Yeah, that was probably the most exciting part of the whole trip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Brad on the paddle boat.
Whap, 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 whap.
But I mean, I can go. I just made this little. This is just kind of.
Yeah, let's play the slideshow.
Yeah, let's just go through the slideshow.
My
We can
phone made
comment.
its own slideshow, and it added epic music to it. It just
Okay,
like
beautiful
turned
sky.
into a commercial for fucking Scablands. I just had to like post it, and away you go.
All right, this is by the Spokane River, right? At the Bowl and Pitcher.
That's right, the bowl and
looks like
pitcher. And yeah, I was just amazed by this. The river was just so beautiful, and I don't know.
No, it was.
Hit that full screen.
Am I?
Yep. You just muted out. No, you.
Sorry about that.
We forget.
Yeah, Kyle doesn't actually know how to use this.
I never used this program.
Is this it right here? Let's see. There should be.
Enter full screen. There it is at the bottom.
Yeah. So yeah, I was taking some other pictures of I just love this. This is all the rocks that the river is polishing here, and you can, I don't know, I'm a rock hound, so I was looking at that like, God.
Well, see, the interesting thing is there's a whole story there, because now you know that, okay, whatever type of rock there was once part of some diverse bedrock, extending over some pretty wide geographic area. So what this does is tells you where the water and or the ice, what terrains, what areas, geographic regions did it traverse.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just absolutely beautiful. So I suppose this is the bowl and pitcher, but we were trying to figure out, well, what's what? I was thinking that this is maybe the pitcher here.
That's what I would think. That would be my first guess anyway.
This is the bowl sitting over. I don't know.
Well, within that large piece to the left, there is a very smoothed out, rounded section. So that could be what they're considering the bowl. I hadn't figured it out other than that.
I do see people on top of that too, so there's a bit of scale. There are some people standing on top
right in the middle.
Yeah, and we climbed up
to see.
Cool.
We were up there.
Yeah,
that's where I retrieved my drone.
It's like an epic joint smoking location.
This is what the river looks like during the snow melt, right? I mean, the snow's still melting. We got the rivers up,
rapid. Yeah, loud and flowing fast. It was really cool.
Yeah, really cool suspension bridge there too. Yeah, there it is.
Yep. So this
that was a beautiful stop there, wasn't it?
Nice spot for lunch.
Moving out there.
Rocks.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not as good as Ben. Look, I guess I'm moving too fast.
What's the water noise?
Yeah, you got to move like 4 times slower than you think you should.
Yeah,
so I was figuring that out too.
So
there we go.
Yeah, this is atop Steptoe Butte.
Oh yes,
and I just couldn't get enough pictures of this. I mean, looking out in every direction, it was just how much higher are you on Steptoe Butte than this landscape below?
1,200 feet.
Yeah, that's what
1,200 feet.
It's right at 1,000 feet. I think it's just a little bit more than 1,000.
Yeah, that was amazing. I took a lot of pictures of this.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. People on the trip were joking that it was like driving through the Windows 98.
Windows XP login screen.
Login screen.
It legitimately is. Like when you're down driving next to those green rolling hills, it looks just like it. Like with the blue skies and the clouds. Yeah. Yeah, this was a beautiful area. And this is all these
it just went forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what did we learn? It was 3,000 square miles of these hills. Right?
And is this isn't in right. Quincy Basin, is it, Randall? This is kind of northeast or east of Quincy Basins?
Almost to Idaho.
Tell you what.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was a little way away.
Pause for a minute. I'll jump to the map, and we'll see where that is. And then we'll jump back to the pictures. Okay, so the Steptoe Butte right here. Okay, so this is all the rolling Palouse, all of this area around here, which is the loess soil. And this is a section of the loess topsoil that actually was not washed away by the floods coming from the north. If we go to the aerial photo, the satellite view, we'll see the Cheney Palouse coming down here. And then Steptoe is right here. So we're looking out over this here that was undoubtedly submerged for a short period of time, but the water was not, the flowing water was not moving fast enough or was not sustained long enough to wash away. But it undoubtedly created that kind of that gently undulating, stormy sea topography that was so impressive.
Yeah.
But if we go here to the west, then we'll see the very distinct difference where we get to the Scabland complex, where we've got now exposed basalt bedrock.
Yeah, that's quite clear with the colors, isn't it? That makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And you can see the streamlined shaping here.
Well, and go north to Sprague Lake where we started. That's right at the top of that Cheney Palouse.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a big floodplain. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Look, yeah, you can see how wide it is. So that would have been a river that's maybe 400 feet deep by, let's see, 2, 4. That's about 10 miles wide right there.
That's just
Yeah.
Yep.
And you got the drone footage from up there. We can show.
Yeah.
Pictures.
Drone footage from the top of Steptoe.
Steptoe.
Yeah.
Got a great one where he flies past the whole group and we're all waving at the drone, and then it.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
try. It might get a couple frames per second, but we can pause too. So let's have a look.
So no, this is not with part of Quincy Basin. Just to let it to. Okay, so here's Steptoe Butte, and here's over here is Quincy
Quincy
Basin.
Basin, which
So-
would have filled up and had much more water. I guess that's at a lower elevation than to the east, but at one point this was all covered in water for a time,
I think
And-
there was probably a time when the entire basalt plateau was almost submerged completely. But then the water channelized, like we talked about multiple times, and once it gets focused into a channel, it can become more erosive, and then that increased erosion downcuts the channel. So then what happens is the channel will capture the overland flow that had been spread out more as a sheet, and now it's focused into a channel, and that's really when it really can begin incising into the bedrock and end up creating, Grand Coulee and Moses Coulee, things like that.
right, and then all funneling down south to Wallula Gap.
To Wallula Gap, the place we didn't get, which is right here. Yeah.
Rub it in.
Brad made us stop and turn around.
Next time.
All right, let's see.
Dinner at midnight. I said no.
Let's have a look.
So-
see.
Why do you think Steptoe Butte is the only thing left over there? Is that would have just been the only tall mountain in that area?
Yeah, it's a volcanic. Well,
It's some kind
when
of.
we're through
go
looking
ahead.
at this, I can show you.
Sorry.
It's actually part of the mountain range to the east. Sorry.
Okay.
It's a remnant. But yeah, here we are,
It's kind of
1,000. Yeah, look at this.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a little skippy, but it's still good.
Yeah, and the drive up on top of this thing.
Oh man.
Great.
Yeah.
I think you.
You can see the road to the right here.
Yeah, you can see the road right here.
I
Here's
think
somebody
you go
about to
around-
walk down the road.
I think you go around it 4 times to get up there.
Yeah.
And, it gets narrower and narrower and steeper, and everybody in the van is just like, "Ugh."
Grip.
Oh yeah, I have
And
to
it
ignore that.
was deceptively tall. It did not look that tall from the street, from ground level. And then it was like, it felt like we were there halfway up, and then kept going up and up and up.
And the green
Felt
just
like you were in
added
a
so
plane.
much color to be there in the spring this time
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
the dark brown late summer when we're usually there. It was really spectacular.
Yeah, so that's another thing. We're moving the trip to September, right? The next one. So it's going to be a totally different look. I mean, this
Yes.
was enchanting. Everywhere we went, it was just it was beautiful.
Yep, different colors, less water over the waterfalls, less waters in the lake. Yeah.
So why do you
It's
why do you
desert out there.
why
Warmer
do you pick
though.
September then?
What's that? Why did we? Well, it was just always in September. The reason it's in September is because we'll be in Utah in May.
Gotcha.
Starts cooling down also, you get otherwise it is dang hot there through the middle of the summer, so it's either spring or spring.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's different in the fall. You would get, your sepia tones, your, burnt umbers, your siennas.
Man,
I'm sure that's
nice,
exactly what you were thinking, Ben. But it's still beautiful and spectacular in its own way, just different.
It gets that golden look in the fall too, because there's so much wheat everywhere. It's like golden fields everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, and even a rich dark brown, just this mocha dark brown instead. Yeah, it's still another patchwork that's beautiful.
Yeah. So in addition to your siennas, your burnt umbers, your sepias, you also get the mochas. So,
have you been watching Bob Ross? What's going on?
Those are
awesome,
cool
Ben.
shots of the top.
There's
there.
a Bob Ross marathon on the other day.
in the building business.
Randall just binged Bob Ross since he got back from the trip.
Well, in my business of building things for people, typically at the end you paint things and people have to pick out colors, So you've got all of these, these very highfalutin type names, dark chocolates, your, whatever. Whereas back when I started in this business, it was basically, like brown and gray, red,
light green,
Eggshell.
Yeah, you might have had light green.
Those names don't provide enough job security.
Dark green.
light green, dark green, two choices.
Eggshell was the start of the end.
I think that was the start.
Right, that's right.
I think that was
Then they have to keep one-upping themselves. It's an endless.
Do you want the bone, the white, the off-white, the ivory, or the beige?
My chickens lay brown eggs.
Well, you understand that there are people whose job it is to sit around to do nothing but think up these names.
Yeah.
And they
They're
get
high.
paid a lot of money for that.
I'd take that job.
I think I'd be good at that. I'd just be like,
Cornflower blue.
it tastes like fluacia.
Yeah.
Titanium
All right.
white. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. What are we looking
color
at here?
fights.
That's
We're
that
looking
Colk.
What?
That's one of the potholes, isn't it?
Potholes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Potholes, of course. Yeah. This is the spillway, right?
Oh.
Before the.
Is
Colk.
that Brad
That's
in the
Colk down there
pothole?
below the lakes.
Yeah, the Colk right there. Yeah, look at that.
Is that Brad in the spillway for scale?
Somebody's in there.
Kyle climbed
I
up the
didn't-
hill opposite the road to get that picture, right?
It's either that. Yeah, it's either colking or
There you go.
maybe it was the Army was testing
right.
around nuclear tests there.
Ordnance.
So Darren brought Randall a megaphone, and what was really cool is Randall's over here. He's talking to the group, and some of the people are walking down in the canyon. I'm standing up against this basalt cliff wall, and I can hear everything he's saying about the Colk right there from up here. It was pretty cool. I got a little bit
Yeah,
of
once he
video.
got the megaphone, we could kind of spread out and still hear him. It was cool.
Yeah.
Kyle has ears real perk up when he starts hearing Colk, though. What do you mean?
Who's that down in the crater?
Coca-Cola.
Is that somebody down in the crater there?
Seems like,
Yeah.
Seems like
Oh, yeah.
Chris went down there, maybe.
He's doing a specific type of dance that's a
He's trying to summon the Colk demons.
Right.
Free frolic.
this guy's
Colk
over
is
here.
sore.
He's banging on the kettle with a stick. And
Yeah, it's a sacred ceremony. They're commemorating the vortex there.
You guys got out of there just in time.
So now
You
you
probably
can
actually
realize
cut everybody's bathroom breaks.
That's okay.
Probably
They
what that is.
as long as they sign the waiver, we're good.
I did nearly pee on a rattlesnake at one point, I'll say that.
well,
Hey, man.
that's why we're going back.
Different kind of near miss, yeah.
I'm going to find that rattlesnake. And this time I will pee on it.
Make a necklace out of it.
We have to give Tony a hard time because when we stopped at the gravel pit at Northrop Canyon, I went off to take care of some business, and he thought I was going off to do some geology. So
He starts following you. Want to film you?
yeah, so
He's following you with the camera.
yeah, he is. And then this looks like a great bush here, and then I turn around and there's he is with his camera, and said, "I don't know if you want to get, we're going to be talking about the moon later, but I don't think you want to film this at this moment right now."
Get a little B-roll for the moon shot.
You wanted to actually, video someone check.
Oh, yeah.
Hip.
This is Devil's Canyon, right? This is spectacular. This is one of my favorite spots, actually.
Wasn't this amazing?
Yeah,
and then
really
and then when you think about Devil's Canyon, here it is. It's again, you have to think about it's in the context of the Cheney Palouse and how it diverted. It completely overwhelmed the pre-flood topography. I mean, the amount of water was so intense and so great that whatever was there in terms of pre-flood, stream channels and topography, that was just completely ignored. It just completely overwhelmed this and then breached the divide between the Palouse River and the Snake. And at that point, let me just jump to the map real quick, and then we'll come back to your photos, so we can see what we're looking at there on terms of the map. Okay, so I'm going to come over here.
All right. Well, since that's showing Wallula Gap, I will, in my defense, say that we drove up there the day after, and it's now privately owned and growing crops. And the overlook point that we took Graham to is not accessible.
Oh man, that is disappointing.
Wow.
There was electric fence crossing the road to get up there, and so there is a trailhead, but it's a pretty good hike.
When you say pretty good,
several people did it. Yeah, it's like a mile and a half. I mean, if you want to go all the way up there.
Oh, well, okay. So it's not like 5 to 10 miles.
No, it's doable. It's doable, but yeah.
Okay.
Slating.
We couldn't just drive up there like we had wanted to. It was totally blocked.
And you guys were eager to get back and catch up with me.
That's true.
You know it.
Okay, take a quick look. Cheney Palouse is all coming down here from the north, and here is the Snake River, and the Palouse River comes down this way, and you can see very clearly on the map that its original channel came here to the west and then flowed down here somewhere and met the Columbia. And of course, that meeting place, that confluence, is now completely buried under sediment, so it's difficult to say exactly where it would have been. But what happened was you had two different rivers. This was the watershed divide right here. When the water came down, it was too much water to be channeled to the west down the Palouse River Channel, which is now called Washtukna Coulee. And even though Washtukna Coulee could convey something like 100 million cubic feet per second, it still just spilled over the divide, making two incisions. One here is the Palouse River. There's another one that started here that we've never gone to this one, but you'll see it didn't cut all the way through. But what that shows you is that the water was pouring over here, and if the flood had continued, this incision here would have eaten its way back up and eventually breached up here, just like Devil's Canyon now does. But because Devil's Canyon is now not receiving Palouse River, because Palouse River got captured because this new channel was cut by the floodwaters, and it was deeper than the original valley, had a huge sediment dump in it. So then basically with that sediment and this downcutting here, it was natural that the Palouse River got diverted right here. This is where the capture took place. In fact, at one point, the water would have been flowing around this sort of almost mesa-like protuberance here.
Where are the waterfalls since we'll be going there next.
The waterfalls are right in here at Palouse Falls State Park. Let's see. They don't really show up here.
Sort of make the cataract there, but
here we go. You can see him.
Yeah,
you
right
can
there.
see him right here. Here's the whole cataract alcove right here. This huge bowl, and then the river flows down the canyon and meets the snake. And then over here, which the pictures we're going to just about to jump back to, is Devil's Canyon, and that's this. So there was, you'll be able to see the scale of this thing. And what's nice about this is Highway 263 goes right down through it, so you can, drive leisurely down here and really get the sense of the scale of the thing. So I'm going to stop the share here so we can go back to the
Yes.
imagery.
Yeah, and by the way, if we're going to do an hour and a half, we've got 20 minutes. So we might want to
Speed it up a bit.
speed it up. Russ has got some good drone footage too.
Ben has some drone footage of this canyon too. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see that, because this is the only picture. I'm driving the van.
yeah.
So I've got this, and then when we stop down here at the
All right.
these,
Yeah, so mention it. We're looking up canyon here. We're looking north.
that's right.
So the water poured over this divide here, this ridge, and then it cut down this canyon. And because the Palouse got captured, there's no water flowing through there now.
So this is our buddy Kyle.
yep.
Yeah.
We've
Wearing
talked.
an Uncharted shirt and a Brothers of the Serpent hat.
Yeah.
But
Mo-
you'll
Mohawk Kyle?
notice that on these tree stumps next to Kyle, you didn't catch this when we were there, but there's a little person.
Yes.
One of the little people there. See,
There it is. There it is. That's awesome.
Got a ferry.
Kyle
Yeah.
the Lil man.
This is one of the Devil's Canyon fair. This is a little demon here. One of the little.
Kyle should have kicked him.
Who is?
We call this the anti-scale man.
That's right.
Kyle's probably still in quarantine watching the show right now.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh yeah.
Kyle is still in quarantine?
Yeah.
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 Unfortunately.
That's insane.
he probably agrees at this point.
I bet he would. Yep.
Let me go. Devil's
So we're
Canyon.
going to see.
Maybe we ought to go along since Kyle's still in quarantine. We ought to just go along so he has a little more entertainment.
Yeah, there we go.
We can't.
Sure.
An hour and a half.
2.5 hours of quarantine.
Okay.
We will share. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm sure there's. Okay.
Oh.
Look at that.
Sweet.
Yeah, let me go back one. And just skip.
Oh yes, these.
Those that are not strand lines. Brad is very insistent that they're not.
Terracets.
I don't buy it.
Which way?
They weren't straight across like strand lines.
Did you want me to back up?
No, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to argue about that on the air.
No. I mean,
That's for the trips, right?
Yeah.
We all get to argue.
we all get to bicker.
We
and
listen
argue.
to Randall's explanation when we're all out of the vans, and we all get back in the vans. And we're like, I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'll get a kiddie pool and I'll fill it up with olive oil at the next one so we could sell it in wrestling matches.
We can bring a pallet of olive oil. We can survive. We can supply it, man.
We'll wrestle in snake oil.
Snake
So you
oil.
guys are snake oil salesmen?
Comes with the territory.
So this rock right here in the middle, just to the right, which would have been on the east side of the highway, would have been an isolated butte during the flood. You would see water would have flown around that right side there, which would be the eastern side.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
I'm talking about this in the middle of the screen now.
The dark rock right there on the right. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, this is the water has carved it all the way around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. You just imagine how much water filled this canyon. This was impressive. And just spectacular too.
So how far? Yeah, how
Work of
far
the
would the
devil.
water be? Where would the water be at that point? How far above that mesa?
Well, it had to start out by being above the highest point
Right.
that you see flanking on either side. It had to be if you drew a line along the horizon across the top of this, the water had to start out up at that level. And it was undoubtedly pouring over the entire ridge from here all the way over to Palouse Canyon. And then it found some zones of weakness, which were probably fault lines, and that's why they're so straight. And then once it began to exploit those zones of weakness, it would have quickly downcut. And then the overland flows would have been captured into the canyons.
And so that down at the bottom, there was the snake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
To cut that deep, how deep is it like 400 feet? Is it
That's
it
what I
varies?
remember, yeah.
Yeah, 400
400.
feet on average.
That's probably pretty close.
Just remember that, guys. Devil's Canyon leads to the snake.
Does in this case.
Back to the vans here. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the rocks that we parked there. Oh, that's awesome.
Those aren't petrified
Cool.
trees? That'd be cooler if they were.
Fried trees.
No,
Giant,
those are just
giant bones, I'm pretty sure.
basalt knobs that were just, left in the wake of the flood. And look at all those people just rudely out in the middle of the road,
Yeah.
As long as they sign the waiver.
They own
it's
the
fine.
place.
cluttering up the
I
place.
think only one car went past us, and it was a government vehicle. And they were like, "Are you climbing the rocks?" And Denny was like, "We're just tourists."
Great answer.
Yeah, a non-answer.
We're just tourists.
Right.
We're
He's
just
the right
your
person to
normal,
answer, too.
typical tourists. Nothing
He's the
to
most
see here.
trustworthy.
Geo nerds, come on.
Nerds.
So this is Palouse Falls.
And there was this beautiful rainbow.
Yeah.
Rainbow. If it was double rainbow, I would have cried.
All the way. Yeah.
I thought you had that in your footage, Ben. In that video you had, it looked like a double
Yes.
rainbow
Yeah, I caught
Yeah.
it in the drone too. I mean, it was
from above.
Now, Ben, did you did catch the drone footage when Kyle did the backflip off the cliff there?
He was too swift. I was just about to launch it, so I didn't get I got a lot of everybody else jumping off, I think, but Kyle was. Russ got it on. He's got the film of it, right? You filmed it on your phone.
Footage of him doing that.
Yeah. That's solid.
Yeah, I thought
somebody shared
Flavortown
a
had like
picture.
a
He was-
slow-mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he had
upside down.
slow-mos of
Somebody
a
shared
bunch of
picture.
people.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Look at that.
That's a
Oh,
pain.
that's a great
Wow.
shot.
Fun.
that is a great shot.
Yeah, that canyon just the way it's. I don't know. This was one of my favorite all-time top favorite sites.
Yeah.
And I could have easily spent, many more hours there hiking all the trails around
Oh,
and
yeah.
seeing everything. But as the itinerary, we got to keep moving. But it was good. It was good enough to make me want to come back and
Yeah.
it was like
And check out the huge gravel boulder bar on the inside of the meander here, and then this wash that got left in the aftermath of you got a picture that the flood currents are roaring around this prominence here, almost making a 180-degree turn. And so there's the inside bend, and then down below, just off the screen, would be the outside bend of the meander. And it's very typical, except that everything is oversized. So this whole flat area down here is just like a huge gravel boulder bar.
yeah. And
I
this
think
is
that's one of the convincing places that tells you that wash up gravel is not talus or scree. It hasn't fallen off the
Right.
upper levels. It's actually deposited
Yes.
there because you can see it's only right there, and it would have been there because of the slowing flow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great point.
It's such a small amount of it left compared to the amount that had to been taken out of there. It's just like this little pile left.
Well, remember we saw two huge bars down at the Snake River
Yeah.
flanking the entrance. I mean, on both to the east and to the west of where the Palouse enters the Snake.
Right. We were at Lions Ferry State Park down there
Yeah.
wading in the water for a while when I decided, whatever, not going to get to Wallula Gap. Let's hang out here for a while.
Now go back two images quick. Okay, so thing to appreciate here is that at the initial stages of the flood, this entire landscape was submerged. And see, look up on the, right up there where the cursor is. That is the streamlined loess. Just in the foreground, you've got Scablands. So that was water probably a couple of 100 feet deep flowing over that Scabland. You see between the edges of the cliff and the rolling Palouse against the horizon, you've got a little section of Scabland in there. Take your cursor back, Ben, to the right, to the right, to the right. Keep going to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. And right in there.
Carl's driving.
You can see it in the distance. So, and those loess hills are about 200 feet high. So you got a picture that initially, as the flood hit this area here and washed over this watershed divide, it would have been up at the level of the top of the loess hills in the distance. Yeah. So this entire scene here would have been submerged and underwater.
And I mean, the scale of this, it's when you walk up to this edge here, like we come down the stairs, and I mean, this is going in the background, making this horrendous noise, and it's amazing. And you just walk up to the edge, and it's just breathtaking. Looking off there, you want to show that drone footage, Russ?
Yeah, let's pull it up over here.
I gotta move this. Yeah, sorry, I got stuff in the way of the cursor. Here we go.
We need.
Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of your footage of it, Russ. That you got some fantastic shots of this.
I tried to. Let's see which one we have pulled up here. Back it up. Yeah, there we go.
Restart.
Trying to pause it, but yeah, okay. All right, you guys see this?
Oh yeah.
Let me move it forward. I'm flying downstream, down the canyon. The falls is behind the drone here. I was trying to get down so I could.
Yeah, and look right up. You're just going out of the screen. Can you back up for 1 second? Or is that too complicated? I guess.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Go back a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Okay, right top right, you see the Scabland up there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that means that you had rushing water up at that level early in the flood stages that was probably at least 200 feet deep.
Wow.
And then it exploited some weakness in the basalt bedrock and then began to quickly downcut this canyon. Yeah. And the water flows, obviously, that created this canyon were far, far greater than the modern Palouse River that flows in it.
Yeah, I'll skip ahead a bit here. I was just turning the drone around real slow. Obviously, this is raw footage. There's Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah. I was going to say, those terraces sort of show that pulsing flow, right, that you were talking about, that it's not just all...
Because you've got multiple layers of basalt here. So you've got a basalt flow that comes in, it cools and hardens, and then sometime later, you got another basalt flow coming on top of that one. Same thing happens, then you got another basalt flow. So what we're seeing here is multiple basalt flows. And then, of course, when the floods come, those bedding planes that separate the different basalt flows, those are the weakest points. So the water plucking and eroding the bedrock, it plucks away and quarries away and leaves the bedding planes exposed, if that makes sense. I like that kind of lunar, weird, castle-like remnant that's just to the left of the waterfall.
Yeah. This thing right here is really interesting, and I do get got a close-up of this.
Jump to that next one.
Yeah,
you flew over it, right? You kind of backed right over it.
As close as I could. You know how it is.
You were standing way behind where the drone is now.
Yeah, the drone is out over the middle of the channel here.
I was going to say there's a person up in the top left there. So if there was a person down by that castle feature, you could hardly make out that it was actually a person.
I think there were. Yeah,
I do get close
here.
You
could hike over there.
You can see people here. I'll just skip it forward. There were. Maybe it's the next video where the people are there. But yeah, I turned it around.
This shot of going
nice. Yeah,
across the
I haven't
bend.
seen it there.
Yeah. That looks like another wash there above it too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Russ, this is cool stuff.
Drone envy.
Here, I'll skip this one.
There we go.
There's some people.
Nice.
On it. See them? I was trying to lower the drone deeper down into and the wind from the waterfall kept pushing on it.
Yeah.
And it kept complaining at me, so I couldn't really. It kept complaining that there was turbulence. so I
there's
couldn't
there's people out there, man. They're right on the edge there. Damn.
Yeah, they're standing right on the edge.
There is that trail. Yeah, I saw the trail in the
A lot
footage.
of that.
That'd be a
Is
fun
that
trail.
some of our people?
I don't know.
No, that guy's
Probably.
right on the edge. Actually, one of them's right on the edge.
That's probably one of ours.
Probably. They're
Oh, there you go. You can see them climbing your feature here too.
It looks thin too, right? It looks thin.
Oh, it's really
Right.
thin.
Yeah.
The blade.
Oh wow.
Dykish.
Just all that's left from the. I mean, yeah, there must be just all. Probably wouldn't have taken much longer for that to have been washed away.
Right.
That's right.
Is that
Oh,
what is that stuck in the side there? Is that just rock on there?
That's
it must be.
water deposits.
Okay.
Some kind of deposit. We saw that at Potholes Cataract too. There was the white deposits. I don't know what mineral it is, but
everywhere and through Grand Coulee, same thing.
Yeah.
Just the edge
Bleached.
of the water has the white. I guess it's all soap lake, right? Same sort of material, same water. So it's supposed to be just strong mineral water, whatever mineral deposit.
Minerals, baby.
Well done, guys.
The mineral
Awesome.
bath was fantastic. I'll have my drone out next time. It's a Mavic. I think it's the same as yours, except it's an Air. I don't know what that means.
Oh, you got the Mavic Air?
Mavic Air 2.
Cool. Yeah. Cool.
It was the one they had in stock. It was either that or a Mini, and I didn't want to go to a Mini.
No, don't go to the Mini. Yeah.
so this is just
Lions Ferry.
yeah, and also we found this was the day we decided not to go to Wallula Gap.
Everyone's over
So it
there
was like, hey,
crying.
we can just hang out here and people can drink some beers and we can stand in the water and
But we did see Sam Squanch coming out of the trees.
That's right. Take the shot.
where a lot of really great conversation took place.
Yep. Standing in the water.
Waiting.
Hippies! It was Darren yelling at us.
Laura and
Bunch of
Brad.
hippies.
Yep.
That was perfect.
Beautiful blooms. I had to take a lot of pictures of flowers because Laura couldn't come to the trip with us. So
That's right. Just send her
I was
flowers.
sending her flowers everywhere we went. But yeah, I was.
And they were beautiful. It was blooming.
There's so many great wildflowers.
Yeah.
Do you know where this is, Randall?
Um,
Not a lot of context.
This is. Come on, you can. Okay. Now this is on top of the Moraine. Let's see. I don't have it. You guys went up on top of.
Yeah.
Top. Everybody climbed up on top of the Moraine. What was the name of the place?
We have the drone footage of the Moraine.
Yeah.
You have the drone footage of the Moraine. Do you have it? I just thought this was a good group.
This is the one where we drove out there and we stopped and we thought there were going to be picnic tables and it was just a gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, right.
Jameson Lake. That's Moses. Moses
Yeah,
Cooley.
there-
Moses Cooley, Jameson Lake. That's right. Yeah.
You've got.
That was
You
my
want me to try and
mulligan.
find that?
Yeah, your one. Brad said it was-
Called it.
Oh well, if you're.
No, that's West Bar. Did you want me to do that, or do you want me to share that?
Yeah. Show. Do you want to see that, Randall? The footage
The
of
Moraine?
the Moraine.
Oh, that's right. We stopped just south of there. Yeah, to
right.
fly the drones
Let's do
on the
it. Yeah,
Moraine.
okay.
That was it.
Took me a minute to put together what you were talking about, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is the controversial situation where there's a moraine down inside the floodplain, right?
Cooley.
right in the coulee, yeah.
So it's behind us, I think. The drone will spin around.
Whose drone is this
Yeah.
now? Ben's again?
This is mine. This is the big one I had. Yeah, I
The
had a couple
Phantom?
with me. This is the Phantom 3, yeah. So I'm flying over to the edge of the coulee, then it turns around. Let's see, turning around. Okay, here we go, panning around.
I watched the 50 best drone fails on YouTube a couple days ago. That's pretty funny.
I have a drone fail on this trip. That's a film.
Yeah, it has a pretty spectacular drone fail.
It came back though, didn't it? In the end,
Oh, that one. That one where I thought I lost it, but no, actually it crashed. It got stuck.
In the trees. I heard about that.
I'd left it at Spokane River. So this is what we're talking about?
Yes,
Randall, right
the
now.
humpy stuff. That's the moraine.
Yeah. So Randall told me that I needed to get drone footage of this, and then when we parked the vans and got out, I found Ben and told him that Randall said that Ben needed to get drone footage of this. So,
I have footage of it.
I passed the buck on that one.
Then Darren, when we were really dragging our feet there, and then finally, Darren showed up right when we were ready to leave.
That's right.
Where's this?
This is where we were waiting for you to show up with lunch, and you never did.
Jameson Lake.
Dude,
there, yeah.
you could have said we're going to the south end of Jameson Lake. Because I just typed in fucking Jameson Lake, and it took me to the north end.
It's literally the picture being taken here. Yeah,
Oh, right.
down in this
Yeah, that's
corner.
right.
Yeah.
Up on the moraine and on picture.
I know you guys are probably getting like.
And for the
one frame a
record,
second.
I didn't have the lunches. I just had the upgrade lunch.
Had all the good stuff.
I had extra meat and extra cheese so that we could upgrade everyone's sandwiches. But you think you guys had it bad? We were having meat sandwiches. We were just taking lunch meat and rolling cheese up in there and just eating
That sounds great because we just basically had bread.
Bread.
Yeah.
You guys
Together
are
with-
better.
PB&J.
Together we would have been unstoppable. We will have better
If you want me
food
to-
next
there we go,
time.
so
We're
that's
taking
on
better
top.
control of the food.
Now, here you mentioned the word controversial. So it's basically the interpretation is that you had the coulee cut, and then after that you had the Okanagan lobe extending down from the north.
Yeah.
And it was the Okanagan lobe that would have left this moraine in the coulee, and therefore, whatever the age of the Okanagan lobe, Moses Coulee already had to be there.
Right.
So then, but the thing is that the Okanagan lobe had to be there because the standard interpretation of Grand Coulee is that the water coming from the east that was discharging from Lake Missoula encountered the Okanagan lobe, and that's what diverted it to the south. Okay, so in other words, that means that Moses Coulee and Grand Coulee had to be created by two completely independent and separate events. Right? If that interpretation is correct, if in other words, Moses Coulee was cut before the Okanagan lobe descended down here. But I would suggest an alternative explanation, which is that you just had massive pileups of dead ice choking the upper regions of Moses Coulee at the end of the flood events, and massive piles of dead ice, probably 1,000 icebergs jammed into this thing, and then they melt.
And drop all their
Yeah,
sediment load.
and create this
So that's
hummocky terrain. And we know that dead ice can create hummocky terrain when it melts. So in that case, it's not like you have the coulee cut and then several thousand years later, the Okanagan lobe has extended into the coulee. It's the coulee is cut and then the ice is deposited in the immediate aftermath of the formation of Moses Coulee.
Right.
It is not what it is, I would argue, it's the remnant massive amounts of dead ice that had been the Okanagan lobe. And you can picture anytime you have that funneling effect, you can picture anytime you have a narrowing of the channel, no matter what it is that's being carried in there, whether it's icebergs or logs or anything, it's going to jam once it gets in there, see? So that was go ahead.
No, well, I was just going to bring up it was after everybody left, so there was a half a dozen of us though there where Jameson Lake hits the main road, Route 2. We were coming back from checking out Brandon's place over in Wenatchee, and it was dark, and I knew that was going to be just a super dark place to view the sky after having listened to David for several nights. So, okay, well, I'm going to pull off up here. And within a minute, Laura was there, right? Laura's had several sightings this past 2 weeks, but yeah, we just pulled off, and it was less than a minute, and a huge, whatever it was, meteorite flew across there that half of us saw. I missed it. I was facing the wrong way, but
I actually was, I missed that one too.
Did you? Yeah, but
yeah,
within a minute of us stopping, it was like, well, okay, it's cold. Everybody saw that? All right, let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a big one.
That one was for Linda, I think.
I think so too.
All right, well, continuing on. This was, for me, this was also really impressive. So right here, we're starting to descend down into this canyon. Now, I don't remember what canyon this is.
Well, it's still Moses Coulee. It's just lower Moses Coulee, which is physically lower.
Yeah, so in this one, you had the flat, obviously fertile terrain. And so we drove all the way down through this. And it was, I wish we had more pull-offs, of course, to take pictures because it was just incredibly beautiful. But this is entering. And then, of course, they had, these vineyards and orchards all down in, surrounded by these gigantic basalt cliffs. And this is a bit later. Valleys. We're actually kind of coming up out of it a little bit. But I didn't get very many pictures down inside. But that was a beautiful drive all the way through there.
Yeah, incredible place to have farmland. Just the view every day when you're getting up, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We thought our vineyard looked cool until we drove down into Moses Coulee, and we're like, oh,
no, that's what it's. This is what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, you guys were just coming in on the walkie-talkies, like, wow.
Yeah, Kyle and I were back and forth on the
oh my God.
Look at that. Whoa.
Farm.
Well, we rushed through there so we could get here to Potholes Coulee.
That's right. Yeah. This was awesome. Absolutely amazing. This has got to be my favorite stop.
Also, incredibly dangerously windy.
Breezy. Yeah.
Nobody got drone footage of this.
We tried to launch my drone, and it said no. Yeah.
You probably had the most powerful drone. It's funny. It's like full speed forward and it's going backwards. I'm like, all right, probably not really a drone environment. The thing was banked forward and it's just like going backwards. Like, oh,
let's explain.
That's a beautiful picture, though.
Yeah, from this vantage point, the water is coming from behind us.
But you can see here that because this is a panorama, okay, so it's a little bit deceptive. But this looks like, is this where the water's coming from, or is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's coming from both directions because remember,
we're there too.
Initially, when this starts spilling over, it's probably 3 to 5 miles wide, right? And then it begins downcutting the cataracts, and then water is going to be funneled into those cataracts once they start forming. Why don't we hold that picture right there? Let me
making sure he didn't lose his hat again.
Let me jump to the map real quick, just to pull up the map of this feature we're looking at here.
Yeah, it's cool. Where did Darren go?
He'll be back.
Okay, share screen. There we go.
Decided it was break time.
Okay, so this will start out with the terrain map. This is the Quincy Basin, named after the town of Quincy, and it was receiving all of the water coming from Grand Coulee and Telford was pouring into Quincy Basin, and it was temporarily stopped or dammed by these two anticlinal ridges crossing east to west. So the main discharge of Quincy Basin was here at the Drumheller Channels, but there were 3 other discharge points. One was Frenchman Coulee, which we didn't get to, but you can actually drive down in French Coulee. The road follows the Great Rock Blade, but you can see there's 2 alcoves with a rock blade between them. And
this is interesting how so many of these falls features are 2. It's like a pair with a blade in the middle. That's so there's something interesting about that.
Yeah. And the blade would be in other words, if the flood kept going for another few days or weeks, the blade would have been gone, and this would have been basically one huge alcove.
Or would it continue to just move the blade further and further back and make new blades as it goes? Because it seems like.
I think that depends, I think, on the topography.
Okay.
But, so what we're looking at here is all along here is a ridge, and it's up to 300 to 400 feet. Like this ridge here is almost 400 feet higher than the sill of Drumheller channels. So you figure the Drumheller channels, this distance across this eroded segment here, from say the 262 marker over to the 17 marker, that's 9 miles. So you figure that the water was deep enough within Quincy Basin that it spilled over the Babcock Ridge here that forms the western rim of Quincy Basin. So Potholes Cataract that we were just looking at is this feature here. And again, it has a great rock blade here. Potholes Cataract, you can see why it's called potholes. Look at the rounding, the round erosional. This is from intense caulking and plunge pools of this water pouring over. So the water is, you can see right here. Look, here's a lesson. The water is pouring over in a sheet, and then what it starts doing is it starts cutting down individual channels. You see, so again, it's that coming from a sheet flood to a channelized flood, which is such
like miniature Finger Lakes almost,
Well, they do, yeah. And you can see how, like this lake here, which is Evergreen Reservoir, feeds right into this trough here, that then becomes the southern alcove, and you can see the rounding here again from the vorticular intense erosion of this water flowing over. So this was Potholes, and then one more a little farther to the north was
the
Crater.
next one there is Burke Lake, which Darren almost drove straight into.
Oh, he did. Oh yeah, Burke Lake right here. Yeah.
Oh, he's not even there. Where is he? Oh,
yeah.
Bathroom break or something. I don't know. He just
all right.
He drove into the
He
lake.
he thought he knew where he was going, and he went right across the road. It's like, ooh, there's water there. Not that way.
We were just watching him to see if he was going to stop or not.
I know.
So
Like,
that's the feature we're looking at right here.
Oh yeah. So which one were we actually? We're standing.
We drove right by that.
We walk in at
We're
near the
looking at
bottom
that
one,
big
and then
lake,
we
yeah.
walked
Yes.
across. And I've got pictures
Yes.
going, looking down the rock blade. I've got so you'll be able to see
Right.
the other side.
Okay, so I've stopped share.
There's the man. Hey,
Pew,
Darren,
pew.
look at this, bro.
Do you have an emergency or something, Darren?
Ah, nice. What a great
What
picture.
a guy.
Look, my shoes are like glowing.
They are, yeah. This is so. I have 3 pictures, and of course they're live. They're live photos, and it starts out with you spinning around and yanking your hat off your head because the wind is about to take it.
Excellent.
We weren't going to let it happen.
Of Darren doing pirouettes.
He was frolicking at the edge of the potholes.
I'm a frolicker. Yeah, I just have my cubs upstairs.
Ooh, that's a beauty.
Yeah, that's
That's
oh, God,
amazing.
that is
along the
nice.
basalt here on the right. These are
Yep.
well defined, and of course it's back there. It's just God, and I don't
It's
know.
a rock blade on the left, is it?
Yes,
Rock
on the right.
On the right.
Rock-
On
out
the right. Okay, yeah, okay. All right, yeah.
And we'll get over there. So here we are.
That's a great.
Yeah, I see it now. Yeah,
So the first pictures were from
over
way
there.
back here, and now we're looking down the rock blade.
Again, yeah, that panorama kind of distorts it a little bit, so it's a little out of line. Yeah,
Just
You got
deceptive.
both alcoves here. Yeah.
Yep,
Nice.
there's the potholes Randall was showing us on the.
Yeah, and you can't see it on here, but this is a whole gravel deposit here, and it's mantled with giant current ripples. But you can't see them in this.
over to the right there.
Over
Yeah.
to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in there. Yeah.
Nope.
No, not there. Go back over.
Either way. Yeah.
Right there. Yeah, right up.
That whole sandy bit, yeah, it's got ripples out toward his knee.
Yeah,
Yep.
towards his knee. That's right. Right in there. Yep.
Yep.
I've got more pictures of this. I grabbed a few and threw them into the. But I love this one right here. See, we're all coming back.
Yeah.
This has got to be a
That's a good one.
Cabin Scablands promo. I mean, this is awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that is a good one.
That's a good one. I was trying to get a shot like that, but that one came out really good.
I got a good group photo of all you guys up at the top there too.
I got a lot of people that want to come on these trips just from that little video I put out yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, send them over to contact@thecabin.com and they can
Thanks, man.
check out everything. Of course, there's the next event with Randall there in the Scablands in September, and then we've got our February event in Arizona, Utah event coming up next April, and then of course there's the fabled Egypt trip that we're still putting together that will be happening November next year.
Yep.
It's a fun website, contact@thecabin.com. It's worth checking out.
I suppose you can paint this now, Randall. You've been watching so much Bob Ross, right?
Yeah.
These are the mare's tails.
Yeah.
Remember? Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coraline eggshell for that color right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, then we're back to Dry
Oh, man.
Falls.
That's awesome. Wow.
This is again a panorama. And I believe I'm standing out on the end of the little walkway. They have a walkway that goes out.
It's like about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The catwalk there, yeah.
Yeah. But it was a beautiful day. I mean, look at this. It's raining in some places, but there's,
Yeah,
it was just,
It's fantastic.
yeah.
And then you can barely make it out just above center. There's a little gray area. That's the little parking area where we went down in
Oh, yeah.
at a later day, yeah.
I
Went down under it.
I think it's right.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's where we all parked and hung out.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
man.
just pulled, this is a little pull off on the side of the road looking down this.
Is this the $1 million mile?
$1 million mile. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can see Steamboat Rock right there. Yep, there it is.
This is a sundial.
Out of order.
Ooh, the spaceship.
Yeah.
I don't know how this got out of order.
It's up at the dam.
Yeah, we're
That's Crown Point overlook for the Grand Coulee
Oh.
Dam, yeah.
another one out of order. But anyway,
All right.
That's the spaceship we're
Grand
going to
Coulee
take.
Day.
The spaceship we're going to take to the moon.
I don't know what
Hey,
happened here.
this-
Your hand's gone.
I was
Oh
like,
my
Whoa.
God.
Whoa, no.
Not only did Fauci give me AIDS, he stole my arm.
It's in the hot tub time machine.
Yeah, need to
I lost
Photoshop a little blood in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Say,
Contact@thecabin.com.
What is that?
Ooh, what's this? Did we talk about the
What
moon
is
at
that?
Contact at the Cabin?
I don't know. No, I don't.
I don't think we did. I don't think we got
That was
into
the
that.
wrong. Whoops.
Bunch of lunatics.
I do have a. Let's see if I can pull this up. One more thing to look at with the drone here.
One more, and then we should probably start wrapping it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up after this. But this is where are we at here?
I got you.
I want to see Kyle backflip, man.
oh,
Yeah.
we got to see that.
I
Yeah.
was applauding him all week for
It'll
that.
be a documentary. You guys are gonna have to wait for that.
That was killer. That was so
There's
cool.
a slow mo video of it, so I haven't seen it yet. Flavor showed me, through the little camera view screen. So.
West Bar.
Yeah, West
Yeah.
Bar with the ripples.
Yeah.
So
Man.
I was still gaining altitude here. I flew the drone as far up as it would go, straight up.
I should have done that too. It was great.
Yeah. So I got it to half a kilometer above where we were parked, and then I started taking, and then I took a 360 and a bunch of photographs. But this was, I don't know, this really impressed me.
Keep in mind, we did this all in 4 days.
Yeah. I'm getting altitude
Saw
here.
a lot.
And right, the outlet of Potholes Coulee is just there in the upper left there.
Yeah. So
You can kind of see the road for scale, and so you see the houses for scale on those ripples, and that's what I like. That gives you a sense.
Crescent Bar over there.
whole town over here on this bar. Yeah.
Yep, Crescent
Whatever
Bar.
that is. Yeah. So this is a
Man, that's nice.
Temporary city.
attempt.
Yeah.
And also up here, This is like real
Scablands track right there.
Right. I'll skip through some of this because I do
the Babcock bench Randall's talked about several times. And that Crescent Bar, there was practically nothing there the first year we came out in '98.
Oh, okay.
It was just a little park. Hardly any of that stuff was built up.
Yeah, so I'll skip through some of this.
That's Trinidad there.
You can see, and I like Randall was pointing out these hanging valleys that are in these. It's really cool. And there's the beginning of the bar here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Scale and variance, right? That's
yeah.
And let's see, one more thing here.
Great job with the drones, guys, man.
Next time you got to run out there for scale, Brad.
One of the steamboats.
Well, squirrels. Nobody showed up with a squirrel suit.
Is that what it's? That's also a steamboat rock, not the one we climbed up, right? But this is in Potholes.
That looks like
Dry Falls.
Dry Falls.
Yeah, that's Umatilla, the rock blade. Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of color distorted.
Yeah, a little washed. I didn't have the camera set right on.
Look at these gigantic.
Yeah, exactly.
Golly.
Those are big as houses, easily.
Yeah.
3- and 4-story houses.
Yeah.
I think that is. Anyway, no worries.
It would be great to go back.
Okay,
and all that gravel wash too around the edge, right?
So this is I mean, you can see the lines right here where the floodwaters were just coming over this edge.
Yeah.
That is such a cool shot. I love it. I saw this the preview of that on my phone. God, look at that.
I wish I would have had the camera settings correct. I just had I had the aperture too high.
Dry Falls, yeah. I have good footage of this from a couple of years back.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Those striations there up on the upland there, those you got a picture as the water is washing over that. There are undoubtedly huge icebergs that are probably scraping the bottom as they're being washed across.
Yeah. All right. We should wrap it up.
Fantastic trip, and we hope everyone will come to September. Of course, we do have the multi-swap cast here with Cosmography and the Brothers of Serpent and the Grimerica show. We did want to end with and Ben from Uncharted. Yeah, and Ben. Sorry, Ben.
I'm streaming on Twitch too. So.
We just want to sort of get the message out once and for all on all the platforms, sort of from the horse's mouth, that Sacred Geometry International and Randall Carlson are no longer affiliated. They haven't been for quite some time. It has been several years since Randall has seen any income or anything like that from the website. The person you see on Twitter tweeting is not Randall. It does not share his opinions. He's not associated with it. And basically, it's been a sale of Randall's work for a few years now, which he has not been compensated. So we did want to sort of mention that on this show as well, because we're trying to get that out because people are still buying stuff from the show and or from the website, thinking that it's going to Randall or they're supporting Randall's work. The only place to do that is over at randallcarlson.com. Where you can get to everything. You can get to the contact at the cabin from there, and you can get to everything there. So that is sort of where we wanted to end this, is sort of make that very clear to everybody.
Right, and also the Facebook page, SGI, any other social media that's SGI is not post from Randall and never has been.
Right.
Yeah, it's all the Randall Carlson. Or Twitter is Randall W. Carlson.
Mm-hmm. So you want to add anything to that, Randall?
Oh, someone's asking in the chat about Geocosmic Rex.
Oh, that guy.
Which is Brad, of course.
Good.
Yeah, that is Brad.
Can't get rid of him.
No,
I do all that.
That's Geocosmic, which is now part of the greater family of things that are coming together here in this effort that we're doing.
Right.
So, if it hasn't come through, if people haven't noticed, SGI has never posted a single thing about the Cosmographia, which is the Randall Carlson podcast. And SGI has never posted a single thing about that. So that's a big clue that there's not an association there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's also never posted anything about Geocosmic Rex. So he's kind of been on his own path for too long.
and for years posted, turned the social media site into a personal soapbox to promote QAnon, which, whether you believed it or not, it was not the place. The Sacred Geometry International was not the place for indulging in that. And and of lately now it's been anti-Masonry, ridiculous conspiratorial nonsense about Freemasonry that's so absurd that it's almost laughable. But the irony there is that many Freemasons have supported that site, have purchased the classes, have purchased the compasses and the things that are there, and have promoted that site. And also the fact that there would not be sacred geometry as we know it today if the Freemasons had not preserved it for us. So it seems rather ironic that now he's posting things, but it's maybe perhaps not ironic given the fact that I'm been a Freemason and I hold the craft in very high esteem, to post things saying that Freemasonry is a kind of satanic conspiracy or whatever is probably a way of getting a dig at me. Maybe. But in either case, it's ridiculous and it has no place there. Because Freemasonry is a noble institution that has preserved a great deal of very important knowledge and wisdom, and to see it dragged down into the mud with these ridiculous conspiracy theories is really disturbing and disappointing to me. And the fact that he's using the social media now as a forum for posting that kind of garbage is, to me, just an insult. So, again, what Darren said, I received no money from the sales of that, any of the content that I provided and created for that website. And it's disappointing to me that it started out good, but somewhere along the line, there just became too much drama. And at some point, we will go into great detail on that. But everybody here has seen and had some experience with the administrator of that site.
And we joke about satanic worship and all these devil sites that are around everywhere, but there's factions that would look at anybody who studies the cycles of the moon or looks at the astrological constellations. Well, those are devil worshipers. So we just kind of joke about that because we're interested in what's happening with the moon and on the moon and potentially in the moon.
Hail Satan.
Well,
Absolutely.
As somebody who's studied deeply into symbolism, all of that, to me is just to take it and make it like it's literal. They don't understand that all of that is all of the Satan, the devil, Lucifer. They're not the same thing. They're all nuanced symbols, and that's what they are. They're symbols for talking about natural forces. And to cast it like there's some literal meaning to it is ridiculous. It's infantile. And now to cast Freemasonry as if it's some kind of a satanic conspiracy is truly, really ridiculous. And anybody who would post such a thing, I would think, has immediately forfeited their right to host a website that is dedicated to sacred geometry, which is the legacy of the craft.
Well said. Well, gentlemen, I thank you all for a fantastic trip last week, a life-changing event, as mentioned by several attendees.
Yes, indeed.
I look forward. It's my pleasure.
You headed that thing and got it all, got the place, and I don't know. You just you don't
Made
stop.
it happen.
Awesome.
Maker of magic right there, bro.
So,
Somebody's
Darren,
gonna
you
do
have reserved the same resort for next September, right?
I'm actually going to call tomorrow and make the deposit. Yep.
No shit.
I've got it. Well, I've got it reserved. I just haven't officially made the deposit yet. But since we just paid her a bunch of money, she still trusts us. So I'm going to send her the deposit tomorrow, and we'll be 100% locked in.
And we might mention, as we talked about, this was like getting our feet wet with this scale of thing. But the September thing, we're really going to have the food act together.
That's right.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
It's going to be fantastic. And I thank everyone for listening, and I thank you guys for joining me tonight for this wrap-up show.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, great to see
Love-
you guys,
love
and I
Thank you.
can't wait to do it again.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. When is this going live, by the way?
It's been live the whole time.
It's ending as live.
When is this going to get posted?
I'm going to post it tomorrow.
Okay, probably too late for.
But it's live on
last
YouTube
minute.
right now.
Yeah, but we are live right now.
Yeah, well, we can tell. Yeah, we're doing a trip starting the 20th here, coming up Wednesday. People want to go around the Four Corners area, get into Canyonlands. Hopefully, we get into Arches National Park. There's several arches outside the park if we can't do that, but going into Mexican Hat and seeing quite a few archaeological Pueblo sites. We got like 8 seats available still. So yeah,
How do they get in?
people can jump in. Come on out with us. Worldviewsmedia.com. Views with a Z. Worldviewsmedia.com. And it's also should be directly on the RandallCarlson.com website.
All right, there you go.
Thanks.
There it is.
Get the one that's happening in a few days.
Yeah.
And social media also. Laura's taking care of that for us, so it should all be links there also.
If you have questions, ask Laura on social media.
RandallCarlson.com.
I know everything.
Love to see it's awesome fun for days in a row.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week.
Love ya.
the only time